Oh, now Mayor appeared over there. Okay.
Of September, Rabbi Levitt, Pele Yoetz.
Yoetz.
Looks like Elias is trying to come in, it looks like.
Okay. This could be.
Where are we here? Let's see.
Okay. We'll try again. There's Hashem. Hashem wants us to work for this Zoom meeting over here. He wants more emuna and more bitachon, that he's the one who's in charge and not the Zoom. He's the one that makes it go. Okay, so good morning to Mayor.
Good morning, Rabbi Levitt.
We are up to, we finished Minhag. A round of applause for Minhag, and now we go to Midos.
What page?
On page 86 in the English version, the official version of Samanafshi. And in the unofficial Hebrew version, well, that depends on what version you have, what unofficial version you have. I have Shinayin Ches. Is that the same that you have, Eliezer? Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's Machshava. We go to Midos. Midos will be Shin Pei Daled.
Very important one.
Okay, so since Alan was here first, he's gonna be leading off this entry of Midos.
What do they say that to change one's midos is harder than splitting the Red Sea? You know what they say?
Yeah.
How wonderful and beautiful are good and upright character traits. One who behaves properly is beloved above, is desired below, and finds favor and good understanding in the eyes of Hashem and men. At the opposite extreme, the punishment for bad character traits is very severe, and one who behaves improperly is despised and detested and is bad in the eyes of heaven and the eyes of one's fellow human beings. This is all clarified vividly in the words of our holy sages in the Talmud Midrashim, in the Holy Zohar, and the works of Mussar. Whoever studies them has a taste of the fear of sin. In truth, people's natures are different. There are some people upon whom Hashem has bestowed a good nature, outstanding personality traits, and proper ways of thinking from the time of conception and birth. That describes us, doesn't it? There are others who are exactly the opposite. Heaven should save us. Someone unto whom Hashem granted intelligence and is easy for him to behave properly and to recognize the disgrace of bad character should give thanks for his portion and say, I am diminished by all of these kindnesses. This good portion is better than all of life and the entire life of the world to come.
Wow. Okay, so if So the person who is on that first, the first person that's mentioned over here, the first side, there's some people who Hashem has bestowed good midos and proper ways of thinking. He says already from the time of conception and birth. Okay, and he should simply thank Hashem for the kindness that he has been given these midos. They're given from the time of conception and birth, says the Pele Yoetz. So, and he says, I am humbled and by Hashem's, all of Hashem's kindnesses that he's done with me. That's the proper approach to for a person in that who is in that scenario, that Hashem has given him those gifts. And we could say that about all other gifts that a person has, his talents and abilities. They're given from Hashem. So he has to have a great hakar satov to Hashem. Okay, very good. And we go on to the next paragraph. However, what should the son do? And we go to the next one is Lou, is the next one that was here.
However, what should the son do whose personality traits are bad, whose ways of thinking are malevolent, who has wandered astray from the path of prudence, says to bad that it is good, and to good that it is bad, and whose path is upright in his own eyes? This is an evil sickness that has no cure. Shlomo HaMelech already said, have you seen a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. However, this is what he must do. Perhaps he will be saved. He must pour out his soul before Hashem each day, evening, morning, and afternoon during the silent prayer, Shmona Esrei. With God's help, I will set my hand to this as well and compose a prayer in Beit Tefillati. His request should be that God guide him with good counsel to be outstanding in character, in thinking, and in all aspects of perfection. He should do that which is good and straight in the eyes of God and men. Unwaveringly study the books of moral improvement, make himself dusty at the feet of Torah scholars, and learn from their ways. He must not deviate from their words, even if it appears to him that the sages are calling the left hand the right hand. He should not rely on his own understanding. This person should negate his own opinion before the will of others, and he should strengthen himself with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, and with great courage and fortitude, to periodically act against his nature or his attitude until his habit becomes second nature. God opens his eyes and he sees and understands which is the upright path. He will return and be healed. According to one's pain will be his gain. We have a tradition that one who comes to be purified is given divine assistance. However, a person cannot exempt himself on the day of judgment by saying, this was my nature and my intellectual understanding. I was not able to control myself and to overcome my thinking and my character. This approach will not exonerate one from sin, because everything that a man wants to do, because everything that a man wants, he can do. He is totally capable of anything through toil and effort. Our sages already said, if a person says, I toiled, but I did not find, do not believe him. A person was born to toil. Fortunate is the individual whose toil is in Torah and provides contentment to his maker. This is a fundamental principle of Torah, and this is the whole of man.
Hmm. Okay. So, so that's the main thing. The main thing is not uh, what uh, what nature, what midos a person was born with, but what he does in order to improve his station. And so that's what he says. A person was born to toil, and if that's so that's the important principle over here. To toil in Torah and toil in raising his level of midos and of course Yerushalayim. We didn't mention it over here, but that also is important. Okay. And once again, I don't know how many times he said this. He says it very often. According to one's pain, be his gain. Lefum Sara Agra is the expression in the Gemara. According to his, in other words, according to his efforts, according to the effort that he puts out and puts himself out in order to accomplish it, that will be his gain. It's all about toil. Person was born to toil. Why doesn't it say a person was born to accomplish?
Because accomplishments are in the hand of Hashem.
The only thing that we have in
Pirkei
our
Avos
hands. What?
It says in Pirkei Avos, you're not required to accomplish, you're required to try. I don't remember exact wording, but in Pirkei Avos it says it.
Okay, so right, so that's what it says. Hakol bidei shemayim. The Gemara says in a number of places. We just had it in Maseches Nida. To try to improve to try to do what the Ratzon Hashem is, and that is really what Yerushalayim is. The person has Yerushalayim, so he'll try to toil in doing what Hashem wants him to do. That's what his toil will be in. So his toil will be in to try to fulfill the Ratzon Hashem. And that's the Ratzon Hashem, to toil in Torah and to toil in raising one's level of midos. And okay. All right, a round of applause for midos. Very good. And page 86. And now, after having that in midos, now we go to machlokes. Oh, and we go to the descendant of Aaron HaKohen, who was Rodev Shalom. It was Odev Shalom and Rodev Shalom. So he can tell us about machlokes.
Okay. Turn that off. Machloket, controversy. The despicable nature of controversy is explicit in the words of our holy sages. Based on its severity, a person must galvanize himself with great courage and fortitude to distance himself and flee from it, like one who flees from death. Behold, someone who has never encountered the circumstances which engendered controversy should not boast. Only about this boast. When a person had a very compelling reason to engage in controversy. For example, people sinned against his person, his property, or his honor. And in spite of this, he remained from those who are insulted but do not insult others, who hear their shame and do not respond, and about whom it is written, that's Shoftim. And those who love him are like the strong emerging sun. It is well known that our sages in Hulin interpreted the verse from Eov, he hangs the earth on nothingness, as the world does not exist except in the merit of someone who seals his mouth at the time of controversy. Due to sin, the enemy has become powerful. The evil inclination of controversy incites people to argue over matters of no consequence. In truth, all affairs are vanity and the vexation of spirit. What does the honor or disgrace that mere mortals confer give or add to a man? With that, when men argue, one of them, who is God-fearing and a pursuer of peace, bring the other to the ways of peace. It is impossible for a controversy to exist with only one contender. But herein lies the problem. When two people argue with each other, they both are equally evil. Each one arrogates, I am great. Why should I lower myself and remain beneath him? As a result, the controversy ferments and grows. Behold, our sages in Sanhedrin said, controversy is like a burst of water. Once it broadens the channel, it continues to become bigger. Would that people be wise, they would understand that the individual who lowers himself in pursuit of peace is the one who ascends higher and higher.
Okay, very good. So that's basically the message that's coming from the Pele Yoetz. Machlokes requires two participants. And if there are two participants, he says that both of them are equally no good. No, neither one can say, "Oh, really, I'm the one who's right over here, and the other person is acting improperly in making a machlokes with me." No, it takes two to make a machlokes, and therefore, even if you are right, you are equally you are put in the same category as the other person for participating in a machlokes, which is certainly much worse of a sin than anything else that the other person that you're fighting over this with this other person about, even though you may be right in your own eyes. So and he says over here, what does the honor or disgrace that mere mortals confer give or add to a man? So don't get the person is not supposed to get worked up and bothered and angry over the fact that other people do not honor him or even disgrace him. Because it's we hear on the hotline from in the name of Victor Miller, Zatzal, he used to say that when a person is being insulted or being shamed or being ranked out by someone, we have to know that person who's doing that to us, it's coming from the cockroaches in him. Oh,
Hmm.
here's Roy.
Hey,
And because he says that a person is a very deep idea. A person is made up of everything. Hashem took everything that there is in the world, and he used that to create Adam Arishon, and every single single thing that we find in the world is there in the Adam to make use of course, in the proper way. But in this case, since we do know that, so that we should look at this person, it's sort of like, if you would open up the door to your house and all of a sudden you see 100 cockroaches on the floor, and they're all got their hands raised and they're saying, "You no good bum, you are so foolish, you are so stupid." Would we get angry at all of these cockroaches that are they're yelling at us?
hmm.
Rabbi, we lost you.
It's just a 100 cockroaches jumping up and down. Who gets excited about 100 cockroaches that are jumping up and down? And speaking of that, oh, good morning, Roy.
Yes, good morning, Rabbi.
Morning, Roy.
Okay.
I'm sorry I'm late, but it wasn't due to cockroaches.
Oh, you heard about the cockroaches.
Yes,
See, so this is people often ask, why did Hashem create cockroaches? So now you know. It's the cockroaches that can help one do what the Pele Yoetz is telling us to do in the face of disgrace or shaming. And then we're able to fulfill the dictate of the sages, those who love him and are like the strong emerging sun. Yes. Okay.
I just have one question or observation. It says, when two people argue with each other, they're both equally evil. Does that hold someplace in a trial? Does a judge think both equal?
Oh, right. Yes, that's also in Pirkei Avos. Right. It says to the judge right, when they come towards you. Very good, Alan. That's a very good way of looking at it, because they're having a controversy. So you have to you look at the judge says, I don't know which one is right. I know all I know is that both of them are arguing with one another, and they can't seem to come to a proper agreement between them, and they have to come to me. So, but it also, you have to remember, it also says that and when they accept upon themselves the verdict of the judge that renders to them, so then it says that they're both tzaddikim, because they've accepted upon themselves the psak of the bezdin.
Hmm.
And that's not an easy thing to do, as we hear many stories about that people didn't like what the judge ruled.
Mm.
But really, the most important thing, the most important mitzvah, the greatest accomplishment that a person could have in such a situation is to accept upon himself the rule of the judge. Yeah.
But he has, we know in Pirkei Avos this machlokas b'shem shemayim and this machlokas shlo b'shem shemayim. There's clearly a difference between them, and he doesn't bring that case. He talks machlokas in general. I assume he's meaning machlokas shlo b'shem shemayim, but he doesn't make that distinction.
Oh, so right. We don't say that there's anything wrong with Abaya and Rava and Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel arguing with another. We don't say that. We don't put them in the category of being rishoyim because they're having a machlokes, right?
Okay,
Right.
and he doesn't seem to raise that point that there's a time for machlokas and a time not. He's painting with a very broad brush.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll see. Maybe he will mention
Okay.
in the course of his comments. You want to know what's the machlikas l'shem shemayim? Yeah. Okay. Right. So far, in other words, what he said over here was that right. He referred to it, but he said that he said, in truth, all affairs are vanity and the vexation of spirit. In other words, people are arguing about about matters that really
Aren't worth arguing about. I understand that.
Hmm.
Rabbi Freeze. Like your
Yeah.
movies.
I think he froze.
Nah. Okay, so we go to I think Eliezer is the next one to read. Umi yitain. Is that where we are? That's the next paragraph in the Hebrew edition.
Okay.
Mi yitain v'haya kasher yeriv bein anoshim. Yeah, that's the same thing as we have over here.
Okay, because I have a different paragraph break. Okay, I got it. I got it. Okay. Umi tain v'haya kasher.
We have over here.
We there? I still. Yeah. Okay. Umi tain v'haya kasher yeh rebein anashim that and who Umi tain v'haya. What does he give when there is argument between people? Echad behem im haya yira Hashem.
The rabbi's gone.
One of them. I'm sorry.
The rabbi's gone.
Okay. Echad. One of them is a God-fearing person who goes after peace. Gamet hasheni haya mivo l'darkei shalom. And the second one also wants to go after peace. Ki efshar machlokes lidkayim. And in that case, it's impossible for the machlokes to continue. And they're like one. Okay, this is, I guess, the machlokes shem shemayim. Aval da aka ki yinatsu anashim yachtav shneim shavin l'ra. But you should know
Hinatsu anashim yachtav, when they are fighting.
they're both equally evil. And they're bad. V'kol echad misnase lemor ani gadol. Neither one of them is trying to, and each one of them is trying to say, I am great. Lama ashpil et atzmi v'asher ani tachtav. And why is this person coming against me and saying that I should be on the bottom?
Why should I lower myself? Says
Okay.
the person.
Okay.
And I should be subservient to him by sort of like submitting to him and letting him walk all over me.
We talk because of this. Hamachlokas per river. The machlokas grows and continues. Shahari Amru Hai Tigra Dame Levitka Damya, this wall is comparable.
Oh, this is a, famous expression actually in, I believe it's in Baba Kama.
It says
that we had
Sanhedrin.
it.
I have
Oh,
Sanhedrin.
Sanhedrin? Hi,
Sanhedrin.
okay. Bidkadamaya, it's Bidkadamaya is a, when you have a, Maya is the water, and the Bidka is, you have, somebody, you got a dam that's holding up all the water from flooding over everything.
Right.
And if he removes his hand from the place, all the water is going to come gushing out.
Right, little Dutch boy. Okay, Kevin the Ravach. Velo hachmu yaskilu ha sheha mashpil atro.
Your hand over your face, over your mouth, and just keep quiet. It's going to be like like taking your hand away from the hole in the dam.
Okay. Shalom, you're not going to show that the pushing yourself to search to go after Shalom, hu ha'ola mamal. This brings you to higher and higher levels.
Would that it be that people attain wisdom and understanding? Shamashpil atzma, the one, it's Dafka, the one who lowers himself. Lirdov shalom, and to pursue peace. So even though it may seem like he's being taken advantage of, he's not looking out for number one. This is not the Torah's hashkafa. Hu ha'oila mala mala. He is actually the one who is ascending higher and higher. So, yeah, that's what the Gemara says. Like he's quoting Sanhedrin, I guess, because the Gemara in Sanhedrin is comparing Tigra, the Machloikas, to a Bid Kedemaya. But the actual case of Bid Kedemaya is in Baba Kama. That's the clarification.
You say Tigra is a machlokas?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, isn't that how they translate it over here?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't know, right? Yeah. That's right? That's because, a Tagar is a merchant. Why is he called a Tagar? Because that's that's the way of Masiv Matan. That's the way of business is called Masiv Matan, giving and taking. So so in a certain sense, it's a bit of a controversy. How much are you going to pay for this? How much are you going to buy this thing? Maybe that's one of the understandings. Okay. Very good. So now we go to the next paragraph. Okay, if the evil of controversy is so great, it's the second paragraph on page 88 in the official English version of Yoetz. And we like to call upon Roy.
If the evil of controversy is so great when two men argue, how much more so is the evil intensified when there is discord between husband and wife? It is well known the extent to which the sages were attentive and enacted rules because of the ways of peace, especially between a husband and wife. The name of the Holy One, blessed be He, that was written with holiness, was allowed to be erased in order to secure peace between spouses. From this, we should learn how much a man must be willing to endure for the sake of domestic peace. Whenever there is a dispute, the wisdom must come from the greater one, and he should rebuke the Satan, the inciter. One should not embrace controversy. On the contrary, one should love peace and pursue it. All the more so between a husband and wife who is extremely sensitive, and it is incumbent upon the thoughtful husband to forgive his insult, to humble himself for the sake of the honor of his maker, and to pursue peace with all of his strength. This is urgent because the evil of discord within one's house is so great. It causes evil to himself and to his children after him. Woe unto the man who blemishes his offspring. He causes them to be argumentative and the children of passionate hatred.
Only has one candle on the day of Hanukkah, and that day is also Friday night. So what does he use this one candle for? What's the halacha?
To use it for the Shabbos licht.
Oh, you have to use this one candle for Shabbos, and you'll do without the mitzvah of Hanukkah for that night. And why is this? So the Rambam says, because Gadol HaShalom, the shalom of between husband and wife is absolutely essential, because he says the whole Torah was given in order to bring peace, like it says in Mishlei Shlomo Melech. All of her paths are paths of pleasantness. All of her trails are shalom. This is taken from the Rambam in Hilchos Megillah and Hanukkah, chapter 4, halacha 4, daled daled. And the question over here is like this. Here's where it gets interesting. Who is the Rambam speaking to? So, the author of the Sefer Binyan Abayis, very nice Sefer, The Living Marriage, by Rav Moshe Sakatovitz, he says he once had a disagreement with a friend of his who claimed that the Rambam was only referring to a couple that was on the brink of divorce. And on this Shabbos, a lack of light in the home could be a straw which could break the camel's back. And therefore, in order to protect against even such an unfortunate situation, the Rambam taught that the overriding law for all people is that the Shabbos candle must take precedence to the Hanukkah candle. And so they couldn't agree about this matter. It was a machlokes l'shem shamayim. So what do they do when they have a machlokes l'shem shamayim? You go to Rebbe Elyashiv, zecher tzadik v'kodesh lebracha. So they went to Rebbe Elyashiv. What did he tell them? You won't believe it. Rebbe Elyashiv said the Rambam is talking about a couple who had not had one fight in their 50 years of marriage. And they are living happily together. However, due to a strange turn of events, they found that they only had one candle. And the question was, which mitzvah should they fulfill? The special once in a year mitzvah of Neros Hanukkah, or the weekly mitzvah of Shabbos candles? Yeah, and by the way, my son said, why shouldn't the Rambam have ruled based upon the famous principle of Tadr ve'eno Tadr, Tadr Kodem? You always do the more frequently performed mitzvah. It has precedence over the other. Anyway, that's not what the Rambam said. Perhaps that's restricted to certain cases, not to this one. In any event, so Rev Elyashiv continues to tell the story of what happened over here that the Rambam is talking. The wife approached the husband and said, "My dear husband, the mitzvah of Hanukkah is only once every year, and it's extremely beloved," like the Rambam himself writes. "Please take this candle and fulfill this precious mitzvah of." This case that the Rambam is talking about.
Sorry, Rabbi, you froze when you said, "Please take this candle."
So the wife said to the husband, "Please take this candle and use it for the mitzvah, the precious mitzvah that comes only once a year of Neros Hanukkah. And I guarantee that I will not fight with you, like the Rambam says, under any circumstances. You have my word." Said Rev Elyashiv, it was regarding this case that the Rambam teaches that if the husband does this, then he has not acted in accordance with the Torah's expectations of proper conduct. And Rev Elyashiv added that if the husband would use the candle for Hanukkah on that Shabbos, listening to his wife, they would have the first fight of their marriage. And this idea is truly shocking. So therefore, what we learn out from here is that even the smallest breach of Shalom Bayis outweighs the beloved annual mitzvah of Hanukkah candles. Shalom Bayis is not an optional state to make life more pleasant. As far as Hashem is concerned, it's an absolute binding obligation, which any small modicum of a lack of it must be corrected at all costs as soon as possible. That's how Rebbe Elyashiv understands this Rambam. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next paragraph. Therefore, with strength and fortitude, we go back to Alan to start once again the Machzor.
Therefore, with strength and fortitude, a man must seek domestic peace. He will become richer with an increase of the honor of his home. All the more so, a person must avoid arguments against the community, even if it appears to him that they're trespassing against him and violating the law. Justice rests with them, for Hashem is great and does not despise the many. If it is incumbent upon a person to make protective fence and safeguarding regard to all sins, how much more must he do in regard to the severe issue of controversy? Just as the Moses says in Tehillim, seek peace and pursue it. So too, one must distance oneself from discord and flee from before it like one who runs away from fire, because it is fire and consumed to a point with total destruction.
Wow. Okay, very good. And we go on to the next paragraph, the final paragraph, to Lou, please. Is Lou there?
I am here. Let's see, we are on the, a person.
Behold.
Behold, who's behold?
Bottom of 88.
Behold, a majority of discord is found among women. And men are able to sit together with love and brotherhood, yet two women are not able to dwell together without controversy. The sages already said that Avot the Rebbe Natan, when you see two white ravens, you see two sisters sitting as one in peace and friendship. However, they arouse dispute among them.
No, among the men.
Among the men. As such, separating them is a benefit for them and for their husbands. Brothers should not dwell together in one house, nor should a daughter-in-law live by her mother-in-law. Immediately when people see words of disagreement approaching, they should separate from each other before the flame of dispute rises, and afterwards a continuous fire will burn. It will not be extinguished. As a result of controversy, people utter blasphemy and cursing. Afterwards, their anger is everlasting. Therefore, a person must hasten his refuge. Better one moment too early. One should not be concerned about any large expenses, nor should one be deterred by anyone from seeking resolution, because controversy destroys money, body, and soul. Great is peace. That is where God commanded the blessing forever. I'll be right back.
Okay, Ashikoya.
Very good.
And a round of applause for Machlokes.
Yes, you got through it.
Do it without getting into Machlokes.
That's right. Okay. Have a good day,
Yashikoya.
everybody.
To everyone, all the best to Mayor. Have a great day. And to Eliezer.
Be well. Be well.
Yeah.
Baruch Habatzlacha.
See you, Eliezer. See you, Mayor.
Okay, bye now.